for lower body mobility, it's going to be a frog stretch. This is a doozy for the hips. So we're going to open up our knees a little bit wider than shoulder width. If you can, if you have the ankle mobility, rotate your toes or feet outwards so your toes are facing away from your body. And check down, make sure your ankle is lined up with your knee. That's the safest way. Then, this in itself isn't a stretch, but if you push your hips back onto those heels, or at least get further back, you can actually drop down to your elbows. Make sure you're breathing, push your hips back. You're gonna feel a great stretch. Well, I can't really tell where you're gonna feel a stretch, but I can tell you where I feel. I feel it in my hip flexors and a little bit in my abductors, which is the muscles that are on the inside of your leg that bring your leg inward, keep your hips stable. That's where I feel it a little bit, but mostly in my hip flexors. Make sure you're breathing. Guys, take a little breather. So push your hips forward a little bit. You can actually sit up. Take the pressure off the hip flexor area. You can still squeeze your glutes and press your hip forward. Come up to your hands a little bit. You can do a little almost arching back. And then you can go back into this frog stretch. Maybe go a little bit further. I feel I'm going back a little bit further just by giving myself a few seconds to reprieve a little bit. I got one more for you. It's not on the board, but I figured it'd be a nice little complement to that exercise we just did, or stretch, I should say. So flat on your back, bring your right leg over your left, and then pull that left leg down towards your right side. After a few breaths, you can come back to center, and then bring that left over your right, and then pull that right leg down toward the left side. Done with that one, and then we'll move on to our next mobility exercise, which is called a bird dog. So 4-point stance here, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. You're going to take opposite limbs and straighten them toward the opposite wall. Try to keep that back flat. As soon as you establish some stability, come back down. So maybe hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then come back down. I say hold it because you want to give your body a chance to build some stability in that unstable environment. So as soon as you take a limb off the ground, you're losing some base of support. So your core has to work a little bit harder. So let's do like maybe 6 or 7 each side with a 3-second pause. Kicking that leg back far enough you can get that glute activated. Just felt good, I kept going, she says. All right, warm up. 3 exercises. Your first one is a ground to overhead. So it's basically 2, maybe 3 exercises in one, right? Deadlift position here, pushing the hips back, bringing that plate close to your body, and then pressing it above your head, right? So you definitely want to keep that hinge position. I use a plate, so I can just kind of flick it down, touch the ground, and then up. Create a nice little rhythm for yourself. Okay, keeping that back flat. Next up, grasshopper. So high plank position here, hands under your shoulders, one leg up, drop the hips down, lift the chest up, alternate. Trying to keep that front foot flat on the ground. You don't want to be too far forward, so that front foot is flat. Getting a good stretch, hip flexors, also lower back. Okay? And next up, hollow rock. One of the best exercises you can do for your core. Starting position, flatten your back. First thing you do is tuck that butt underneath, bring that belly button all the way down so the lower back stays flat. Feet together, up 6 inches. Lift your shoulder blades up off the ground. And now you're simply rocking back and forth, trying to keep your shoulder blades off the ground, trying to keep your heels off the ground, keeping that front body in a nice half moon position so you can keep on rocking. Now you're going for a minute at a time. So I'm going to suggest if you can't keep this position, either just hold or for a little reprieve, bring your knees in and then come right back to the position and get back with your rocking again. Okay? Chin down, touching your chest, looking down at your belly button. So try to go the whole minute and get that full core, get that full minute of work for your core. You guys know the deal, we're decreasing rest times after each round. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's get it. Work period. Your 4 exercises. Your 5 really, but the 5 is cardio piece that you can decide what you're gonna do. Your 4, let me start that over again. Your 4 exercises. First up, your body weight exercise is a frog jump. So you're gonna be in a high plank position here, press into the floor, bring your hips up. Try to let your feet land flat. You see how my hands lifted up? It's because my back is so tight. So I need to really press my palms down and try to drop my hips down along with it. Okay, feet land flat on the sides of your hands. That's a frog jump. Next up, alternating dumbbell snatch. So dumbbell snatch is basically, let's say 3 exercises in one, right? First one is a deadlift. You're in this position, right? You're deadlifting it up. That's the first phase. The second phase is you're pulling it up close to your body, the dumbbell. And the third phase is punching it up to the ceiling. That was slow motion, obviously, but if you bring them all together, it looks like this. Okay, keeping that dumbbell close to your body, pulling up, and then punching. I say pull because you really want to use that upper back here, and then punch it up. You don't want to be bringing it up this way and outward. It's not really good for your shoulder. I always say that, right? So pull first and then punch it. But it takes some coordination for sure. But we're going to do some alternating here. Where's the power come from? Oh shit. I can't put it on YouTube if I got music playing. Where's the power come from this exercise? Hips, exactly. So I always think about a deadlift or a kettlebell swing where you're trying to get the weight from back here as fast as possible. That's going to drive that weight from the ground up. And then your job is just to kind of guide it up with that hand. Okay, keeping it close to your body. Alternating dumbbell snatch. Next up, wall ball. Basically 2 exercises in one as well. It's going to be a front squat with shoulder press. Catching that ball right into a squat, into your next rep. Okay, folks at home, if you don't have a wall, just literally just toss that up and catch it. Next up, a double pump dead squat. So a dead squat is a hybrid exercise. I don't know if we made it up or it's been out there, but you know, a deadlift is when your hips are higher than your knees, right? And you know, a squat is when your hips drop to parallel with your knees or close, right? So this is like a hybrid. We call it a dead squat because it's kind of like in the middle of a deadlift and a squat, right? So you're here, kettlebells are at your side, chest up, good strong posture. Now we're doing a double pump. So that double pump happens here. Small little press off the ground, keeping the shoulders back, good strong posture, down, and then a full rep. Okay, so here, hips are still back, up, down, full. Make sense? So that little bit at the bottom is going to definitely intensify that exercise for you. And then cardio, row, bike, jump rope, burpee, jumping jacks, plank jacks, whatever you gotta do for a minute. Keep track of your scores, shout it out to me. I will keep track on the board. And we're gonna triple that, and that's gonna be your finisher.